Certainly. Here's your modified article presented in a natural, engaging speech format, extended into over 50 flowing paragraphs, as requested. Frances Tiafoe has surprised many at this year's French Open, not just with the results, but with the manner in which he has achieved them. Powerful, focused, aggressive. For those watching closely, this is the version of Tiafoe that everyone has been waiting to see again. It's not that Tiafoe lacks talent. That's never been in question. The real question has always been consistency. So when he stepped onto the clay in Paris this time and started delivering clinical performances, it naturally turned heads. But along with the admiration came confusion. Where has this form been? Why now? Why here? Since the Australian Open earlier this year, Tiafoe's results have been well below the expectations set by his talent and past Grand Slam performances. Knocked out in the second round down under, his struggles continued. 2 first-round exits followed. Then came 6 more losses in the second round of various tournaments. Each defeat more frustrating than the last. This wasn't the Tiafoe who reached the semifinals at the US Open in 2022. This wasn't the confident, high-energy American who nearly toppled tennis royalty on his home soil. No, this was a player adrift. Searching, maybe even second-guessing, which is why this resurgence in Paris feels so out of the blue. So unexpected, and yet, so tantalizing. Paul Annacone, a man who has mentored champions like Pete Sampras and Roger Federer, is among those taking notice. But while he applauds Tiafoe's present, he's also critical of his recent past. Because if Tiafoe can play like this now, why hasn't he been doing so all season? It's a fair question, one that fans, analysts, and former pros are all asking. Annacone's tone isn't harsh, it's analytical, thoughtful, honest. He sees the current Tiafoe as a reminder of what's possible, but also a reflection of what's been missed. The tools have always been there. The athleticism, the footwork, the flair. Tiafoe has a game that can trouble anyone on his day. But that's the problem, it's only been his day, occasionally. Sporadically. Not consistently enough to truly break into the top tier. Annacone knows that success at the elite level isn't about isolated performances. It's about stringing those performances together, month after month, surface after surface. He's not dismissing the wins in Paris. Not at all. In fact, he believes they're a window into the future. But he also sees them as an indictment of the recent past. Because this version of Frances Tiafoe didn't just appear overnight. He's been in there all along. And that leads to another uncomfortable question. What's been standing in his way? Is it mental, physical, tactical? Annacone suspects it's a mix of all three. But mostly, it's about mentality. About intention. About hunger. He says that Tiafoe needs to bring the same mindset he has at the slams to the smaller tournaments, the 250s, the 500s, the early masters. Because that's where champions are built. That's where confidence is born. Not just under the bright lights, but in the quiet grind. Tiafoe's natural showmanship thrives at the majors. The bigger the moment, the more he seems to rise. But what about the quiet Tuesday matches in Madrid or Rotterdam? What about the first-round grind in Acapulco? Annacone is urging Tiafoe to treat those matches with the same reverence. The same fire. Because they count just as much. Not in fame, but in form, in rhythm, in momentum. Annacone praised the shot selection in Paris. The improved serve. The smarter court positioning. These are all things that don't magically appear, they come from repetition. From trust. From belief. He wants Tiafoe to build on that foundation. To maintain the discipline that got him here. And above all, to remember this feeling, the confidence, the control, the crowd. Bottle it. Feed off it. Let it carry him through the rest of the season. Tiafoe's current form is a statement. But the true statement will be whether he can extend it. Reinforce it. Reproduce it. Because that's how careers change. That's how rankings rise. That's how legacy is written. Annacone believes Tiafoe still has time. At 26, the prime years are now. What he does next could define everything. The US Open semifinals were not a fluke. They were a preview. A promise. But promises in tennis are only fulfilled through perseverance. Annacone isn't questioning Tiafoe's desire. He's questioning his approach. His structure. His off-court discipline. He wants Tiafoe to chase greatness every week. Not just when the stakes are highest. Because the top players don't wait to feel inspired. They create their own fire. Day in, day out. If Tiafoe can learn to do that, if he can make this Parisian breakthrough the rule, not the exception, then the possibilities are endless. This isn't criticism, it's belief. Annacone believes in Tiafoe deeply. But he knows belief alone won't carry you. You have to put in the miles, the hours, the sacrifice. There's a champion in Frances Tiafoe. We've seen flashes. We're seeing it now. The next step, make it permanent. That's the challenge. That's the mission. And that's the opportunity. Frances Tiafoe is no longer a promising young star. He's a contender. He just has to act like one. Every week, every court, every point. Let's see what he does with it. Would you like the viral YouTube title, description, tags, and hashtags for this one too?